What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about the top 5 short squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list for this upcoming week. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with stock number 5, a stock that I wouldn't really anticipate would ever be on this list, and that is Walgreens. So for those of you that have been kind of watching my lists lately, it kind of factors in a couple different things. One is recent price action. Secondly is short score. Higher the short score, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. Number of shares being shorted. There's a lot of parameters to it, but I feel like kind of using this criteria rather than just the most heavily shorted stocks is very advantageous. But nonetheless, Walgreens did make that list, so it did go up 27.55% on Friday alone. Over the last 1 year though, down 52.35. In case you do not know what Walgreens does, this is it. So the company profile, so feel free to pause it and read through it, but we are here because of this. So short score is 66.54. 13.14% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 93.76 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization 34.22, and then cost to borrow average is 0.96. Generally with shorts, they have been getting in. There's been a lot of fear associated to Walgreens lately, and so yeah, shorts have been kind of getting in. So roughly beginning of 2024, the short interest was 4%. So they've definitely been slowly and steadily getting in. As far as available shares, it does look like there is around 8.4 million shares available to be shorted. So as I always kind of say, if the available shares on a stock is rather low, you might see some corresponding buying, as big money such as BlackRock, some other entities like to buy these types of stocks just to lend them out. So again, that might be happening behind the scenes. And like I said, Walgreens, I've never really would have anticipated them to be on this list. So you guys do your own due diligence, add it to your watch list, and do what you need to do. When it comes down to just the broader market, I think just the actual momentum stocks are getting hit quite hard. So one thing that could be happening this week is CPI. So CPI is coming out on Wednesday, January the 15th. And so essentially this is going to be the very first inflation data since Powell kind of said and insinuated that the Fed's expectations for 2025 is going from, I think, 2.1 to 2.5%. So if this data is better than anticipated, then you could see another broad market rally. And these stocks that are somewhat heavily shorted, perfect circumstance for a squeeze, these ones could benefit. So that's some context behind the scenes, but nonetheless, Walgreens is stock number 5. Moving on to stock number 4, ticker CRMD. So it did go up 3.52% on Friday. Over the last 1 year, up 215%. It was starting to kind of pull back a little bit, but it did get a secondary surge. So over the last 5 days, up 37.13%. This is what they do, so feel free to pause it. So it is pharmaceuticals based out of the US, and 66.77% is that short score. 11.09% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 6.66 million shares overall are being shorted. A lot of other data up top here, and so one also parameter that I like to look at is any stocks that have a DTC greater than roughly around like 1.3. That's a bare minimum that I like to look at. And so the higher the number, higher potential squeeze you could see. So ultimately, in this case, it is 5.44. Shorts over the last little bit have been returning, but still, in the grand scheme of things, given the recent price action, it's still very, very high. So again, something to kind of consider. And as of right now, there's about 550,000 shares available to be shorted. So this is stock number 4. Moving on to stock number 3, ticker OCEA. So it did go down 5.43% on Friday, sitting at 63 cents. Over the last 1 year, down 2.52%, and over the last 5 days is down roughly 10%. So it is starting to pull back, again, factoring in the broader market. On Wednesday last week and Friday really killed a lot of momentum stocks. This kind of got dragged down by that, but this is a company profile. So biotech 2019 was when it was founded, and based out of the States. But 76.07 is that short score. Utilization is 53.07. 6.32% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 488,000 shares overall are being shorted. And then cost to borrow average, on a side note, is 113.01%. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate. And just generally, shorts have been starting to really increase. So the low was around 2.3%, and that was beginning or mid-December. So shorts have started to get back in on this company, and it does indicate roughly around 100,000 shares is available to be shorted. So potentially you could see some buying from big money to kind of bump that up and to take advantage of the very juicy cost to borrow. So even IBKR is around that 86%. So this is stock number 3. Moving on to stock number 2, ticker AKYA. So did go up 13.91% on Friday, sitting at 303. Over the last 1 year, it is down 40.35, and over the last 5 days, it is up 25%. So it is starting to gain some pretty good traction. This is what they do. So life sciences, tools and services, 330 employees and whatever else. And 9.26% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 1.5 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average 5.3, and then short score is 81.04. Very high DTC, so that's again very good if things start to reverse. And basically 10,000 shares is available to be shorted, so you could see some buying as big money likes to kind of bump that up and raise it. So this is stock number 2. Finally, moving on to stock number 1, ticker SANA, and so did go down 14.88% on Friday, sitting at 366. Over the last 1 year, down 49.03, and then over the last 5 days, it is up 113%. So this one, it still does have a good amount of momentum based on the recent volume, but this is a company profile, biotech, 328 employees. And actually, on a side note, this is one thing I've noticed is that when quantum kind of got hit, I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, there has been a reduction in volume in a lot of quantum stocks, and there seems to be a rotation into biotech. So biotechs are definitely getting a abnormally high amount of volume over the last couple of trading days, so something to generally keep in mind. But utilization 79.24, short score 84.35, 29.49% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 39.09 million shares overall are being shorted. DTC is very high at 8.47, and just generally you can kind of see shorts have been really getting in, and so looks like around October short interest was 24%, and where it is now at 29. And just looking at the DTC, you can see that there was a little squeeze. So this bump up recently based on the price action was essentially shorts. It was related to that. So again, something to kind of keep in mind that they already do have shorts somewhat on edge, so they could potentially finish it off. All of these stocks though, like I already stated, do need capital to get in, and you need the sentiment to be fairly positive. Yes, you're going to have the occasional 1 or 2 stocks kind of moving higher based on actual fundamental news, but these companies would be more fundamental driven. And so even if they don't put out news, the circumstances behind the scenes could really push them higher, but it will come back onto data points. And I think the CPI coming out again on Wednesday will be that catalyst to really push the broader market and these stocks higher. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Are you as surprised as I am that Walgreens ever made a short squeeze list? Very surprised by that. So let me know if you guys own them, or if you own any of these stocks. Is there any other squeeze stocks that you feel could go up this week, and potentially why? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.